Chapter 2: The Radical Wisdom of Detachment. Awakening beyond the outcome. Let go. These two simple words can evoke a maelstrom of resistance, fear, and misunderstanding. For many, letting go sounds synonymous with defeat, with giving up, with resigning oneself to a lesser fate. But this is a profound misinterpretation of a deeply spiritual and psychologically astute principle. True detachment, in the Jungian sense, and as a tenet of fearless thought, is not an act of defeat. It is not a sigh of resignation because you've given up on the outcome. Instead, it is a powerful, conscious awakening to a liberating truth. I was never meant to control the vast, intricate dance of the external world. I was meant to understand, integrate, and master myself within it. Detachment isn't about cultivating apathy or pretending that nothing matters. That's cynicism, a defense mechanism born of disappointment. True detachment is about consciously, courageously reclaiming your precious vital energy from people, situations, and outcomes where it never truly belonged in the first place, specifically from those things that lie outside your sovereign sphere of influence. It's the quiet, unshakable confidence that emanates from a core knowing. I've done what I could with wisdom and integrity. I've planted the seeds. I've tended the soil. Now I surrender the harvest to a wisdom greater than my own egoic desires. Jung, in his profound explorations of the human psyche, understood that genuine, lasting transformation doesn't erupt from the crucible of obsessive attachment. It germinates and blossoms in the fertile soil of surrender, not a passive, limp resignation, but a dynamic, engaged surrender that signifies deep inner alignment and trust. You cannot fake detachment. You can't scroll through social media, airily proclaiming, "Oh, I just don't care anymore," while secretly compulsively checking your phone every 5 minutes for their name to pop up, for a sign from the universe, for any indication of a shift in your favor. The unconscious, that vast, powerful reservoir of your true being, doesn't respond to your lip service or your performative indifference. It responds, with unerring accuracy, to your authentic vibrational frequency. And if your underlying vibration still hums with the needy tune of, "I need this external thing, this person, this outcome, to feel whole, to feel validated, to feel okay," then life, as an impartial mirror, will continue to reflect back to you all the ways you are, in fact, not yet feeling whole within yourself. Detachment, therefore, is not the absence of desire. Desire is a natural, vital part of the human experience, a spark from the soul. Instead, detachment is the absence of dependence on the outcome of that desire. It's the profound, embodied inner knowing that whispers, "Even if this particular dream never comes to pass in the way my ego envisions it, even if this person doesn't return, even if this opportunity fades, I am still enough. I am still whole. My worth is inherent and unshakable." And here lies the beautiful, almost mystical paradox. When your energy finally, truly, authentically aligns with that deep knowing of your inherent sufficiency, that's precisely when everything you've been striving for often begins to flow towards you, with astonishing ease, not because you forced it, manipulated it, or white-knuckled it into existence, but because you are no longer energetically resisting it with the counter-vibration of lack and need. Life, it seems, bends gracefully for those who are already standing tall in their own wholeness, not for those who are desperately begging to be completed by something external. So if you find yourself in pain right now, caught in that invisible, tormenting web of waiting, obsessing, replaying scenarios, hoping against hope, pause. Don't immediately seek distraction. Don't numb the discomfort. Instead, summon your fearless curiosity. Ask, with genuine compassion for yourself, what part of me, what young, wounded, or fearful aspect of my inner landscape still fervently believes that this one thing, this singular outcome, holds the magical key to fixing everything, to finally making me happy or whole? That part of you, the one anxiously waiting for love to arrive, for validation to be bestowed, for success to be achieved, doesn't need more fixing, more strategies, or more pressure. It needs witnessing. It needs acknowledgement, not by the external world, not by your ex-partner, not by your critical parents, but by you. Because the moment you can turn inward and see yourself clearly, all parts of yourself, the longing, the fear, the hope, the strength, without judgment, without shame, with radical acceptance, you begin to withdraw your projections from the external world. You stop desperately looking outside for mirrors to tell you who you are or if you're okay. You start becoming your own internal source of validation, your own unwavering mirror of truth. And that is where the real sustainable shift begins. No more chasing rainbows, no more begging for scraps of attention or approval. No more proving your worth through exhausting accomplishments. Just being fully, unapologetically, powerfully, fearlessly you. This is the dawn of authentic power. Chapter 3. Embracing the Void, where true transformation is forged. After the storm of effort, after you finally, courageously unclench your fist and let go, after the relentless fight, the gripping obsession, the silent, desperate begging, something entirely unexpected often happens. Nothing, or so it seems. No immediate celestial choirs, no sudden downpour of blessings, no instant, miraculous resolution, just silence. You wake up the next morning, and the world outside looks largely the same. Your phone doesn't buzz with the longed-for message. Your heart might still carry a familiar ache. The grand opportunity hasn't materialized on your doorstep. The hoped-for apology hasn't arrived. And a sneaky, insidious voice inside your head, the voice of the conditioned ego, begins to whisper, perhaps even to taunt. See, it was all for nothing. Letting go didn't work. Was any of that inner struggle, that painful surrender, even worth it? This is the critical juncture. This is the moment that breaks most people, the point where they retreat from the precipice of transformation and scurry back to the familiar discomfort of their old patterns. Why? Because we've been deeply conditioned by an instant gratification culture to believe that if we do the right thing, like letting go, a good thing, a reward, will instantly replace what was released. We expect a cosmic transaction. I give up X, so universe, you must immediately give me Y. But the universe, in its profound and often inscrutable wisdom, doesn't operate on our impatient human timelines or our simplistic transactional models. It moves in accordance with energetic alignment, and before it bestows upon you what you've asked for, or something even better, it often creates a sacred pause. It checks to see not just what you want, but who you have become in the absence of it. Are you truly embodying the state of being that is congruent with your desire, or was your letting go merely a strategy, a subtle form of control? So here you find yourself, suspended in what can feel like an unnerving void. This is the in-between, the liminal space where your old self, the one defined by chasing and clinging, has begun to die, but your new self, the one rooted in trust and wholeness, hasn't fully been born yet. And this space, let's be honest, can feel terrifying. There's often no external map, no tangible proof, no reassuring external feedback loop to confirm you're on the right path. There's just you, your thoughts, the echoes of your old fears, and the deafening, expansive quiet that demands you to trust something you cannot yet see, taste. Carl Jung referred to such a state as the creative void, a potent emptiness, pregnant with possibility. He wisely observed, in all chaos there is a cosmos, in all disorder a secret order. This is a profoundly fearless thought to hold on to when you're adrift in the void. What appears as nothing happening on the surface, on the external stage of your life, is often a period of intense, deep internal reorganization. Your soul is not on pause, it's undergoing a sacred and vital reconstruction. Your unconscious mind is diligently rewiring old neural pathways, detaching energetic cords from outdated patterns, and anchoring in new, more empowering beliefs. Your very nervous system is subtly recalibrating, adapting to learn how to comfortably receive and hold the very thing you used to desperately beg for or anxiously grasp at. But here lies the insidious trap of the void. Because you can't see this intricate inner work happening with your physical eyes, your ego, ever the pragmatist and often the fearmonger, will try to convince you that this stillness is stagnation, that this emptiness is failure. This isn't working. It will wail. You need to do something. Go back to the old ways. And if you believe that seductive, fear-based lie, you'll prematurely abort the transformative process. You'll self-sabotage. You'll start chasing again, calling back the old anxieties, and inadvertently block the very blessings that were quietly, patiently forming just behind the veil of the unseen. The void is not a punishment. It is a purification. It's a sacred crucible that strips away everything you were unconsciously or consciously, depending on for your sense of self and security. The external validation, the illusion of control, the addiction to specific outcomes, the need for constant reassurance. It burns away the dross until the only thing left is your unshakable, authentic truth, your core essence. And when you reach that profound place of inner stillness, where you stop chasing and start simply becoming, the universe listens with rapt attention. Because energy, as we've explored, never lies. You can plaster your walls with vision boards, recite affirmations until you're blue in the face, and chant mantras all day long. But if your core energetic frequency is still vibrating with, "I'm scared it won't happen," or "I don't truly believe I'm worthy," then life, with its perfect mirroring quality, will reflect that underlying fear and disbelief back to you. The void, then, is the ultimate spiritual examination. It's the moment where you're asked, not to do, but to embody the outcome before it arrives. Can you cultivate the feeling of abundant wealth in your heart and nervous system, even before the money physically hits your bank account? Can you radiate the warmth and security of being deeply loved, even before a specific relationship manifests or remanifests? Can you walk, talk, and breathe with the expansive energy of freedom, even before your external circumstances have tangibly changed? Because if you can, you begin to collapse time. You transform anxious waiting into empowered becoming. You turn inert stillness into potent magnetism. You literally become the vibrational match for your deepest soul-aligned desires. And when that happens, life has no choice but to meet you there. But first, you must pass the test of the void, the silence, the uncertainty, the terrifying, exhilarating gap where it feels like you're doing absolutely nothing, but in truth, you are fearlessly becoming everything. So, if you find yourself navigating that sacred empty space right now, hold your ground. Resist the urge to fill it prematurely. Don't move out of fear. Don't try to fix it. Don't panic. Breathe. Align. Listen. Because once you master this sacred stillness, once you transcend the need for external proof and instead become a radiating presence of inner knowing, life invariably gets loud again. But this time, it sings your soul's song. Chapter 4. The Alchemical Art of Integration. Choosing wholeness over obsession. Every desire that flickers within your heart, every yearning that pulls at your soul, isn't a random whim or a capricious cosmic joke. It's not the universe teasing you, dangling a tantalizing carrot just out of your reach to watch you struggle. Each desire, when viewed through a fearless Jungian lens, is a profound mirror. It's a message. It's a spiritual assignment, custom designed for your evolution. Carl Jung understood this intricate dance with profound depth. He taught that every significant desire is, at its core, a signal from the vast intelligence of the unconscious. It's not primarily urging you to chase something out there, in the external world, but rather to awaken, acknowledge, and integrate something vital in here, within the rich landscape of your inner being. Let's unpack this with fearless honesty. You likely don't want vast sums of money, just for the sake of being rich in a superficial sense. At a deeper level, you yearn for the feeling of safety, security, freedom, and the ability to express generosity that you believe money will provide. You don't desire a romantic relationship just to be loved in a generic way. You yearn to feel truly seen, deeply understood, cherished, and connected in a way that affirms your intrinsic worth. You don't crave external success and accolades just for the fleeting applause. You yearn to finally truly believe in the marrow of your bones that you are enough, that you matter, that your contribution has value. The desire itself is not the problem. Desires are the vibrant life force seeking expression, the unconscious attachment, and the often misidentified needs lurking beneath the surface of that desire. That is where the work lies. And this, precisely, is where most people get ensnared. They obsess. They mistake their intense yearning for productive action. They check their phone compulsively, 20, 50, 100 times a day, for a sign. They reread old conversations, dissecting every word, every emoji, every pause, searching for hidden meanings. They overanalyze every perceived delay, every period of silence, every subtle shift in energy from others or from the universe. And they label this frantic mental and emotional activity as manifestation work or staying focused on their goal. But Carl Jung's profound body of work, especially his illuminating concept of individuation, the lifelong psychological process of becoming an individual, a separate, indivisible unity or whole, taught us something fundamentally different. The ultimate goal of our human journey isn't to become some idealized, flawless version of perfection. It's to become whole. And wholeness, true psychic integration, doesn't arise from obsessively focusing on what you perceive you lack. It emerges from the courageous and compassionate integration of what you've unconsciously or consciously disowned, your brilliant light and your uncomfortable shadow, your innate power and your tender insecurities, your deepest, most authentic truth, even, and especially, the parts of yourself you've been conditioned to feel ashamed of or to hide from the world. Because when you finally summon the fearlessness to hold both your inherent strength and your human struggle in the same loving embrace, a profound shift occurs. You stop needing the external world to fill your perceived inner voids. You become energetically, emotionally, and spiritually full, all on your own. Allow this truth to land deep within your being. You don't primarily attract what you obsess over. You attract what you have made peace with within yourself. The energy of obsession is often tight, anxious, and rooted in lack. The energy of inner peace and integration is expansive, calm, and rooted in sufficiency. So the next time you feel that familiar powerful pull to chase, to fix, to control, to obsess, pause, not out of laziness or resignation, but out of burgeoning mastery. Take a conscious breath. Close your eyes for a moment. Turn your fearless gaze inward and gently ask, what part of me, what belief system, what old wound still fervently believes that this external thing, this person, this achievement, this validation will finally complete me, will make me okay? Because when you arrive at the profound embodied realization that you're already whole, that you are not fundamentally missing anything essential, that you are not broken beyond repair, that you are not behind in some imaginary cosmic race, something truly powerful and alchemical happens. The frantic energy of obsession naturally dissolves, and in its place, a quiet, steady calm emerges. Clarity dawns, and an authentic, unforced magnetism begins to radiate from your very being. You stop needing the world to constantly prove your worth to you, because you've discovered it within. And ironically, paradoxically, that's precisely when the world often starts responding to you in a dramatically different, more harmonious way. Why? Because now your energetic signature, the silent broadcast of your being, clearly states, I'm already it. I'm already there. I am home within myself. That is the profound difference between manifesting from a place of quiet desperation and magnetizing from a state of grounded, peaceful alignment. So yes, you could keep reaching, keep striving with clenched fists, keep analyzing every minute sign and synchronicity with a magnifying glass. Or you could do the truly radical, revolutionary, fearless thing, sit still, do nothing, in the sense of frantic external action, and allow life, allow the universe, allow your deepest desires to joyfully catch up to the magnificent, integrated being you have already, quietly, courageously become. Once the deep internal work of integration is substantially underway, you don't need to chase. You often don't even need to consciously ask in the old pleading way. You simply allow. You simply receive. You simply are. You must consciously, diligently choose peace, especially when it feels uncomfortable, especially when there's no immediate external proof that your inner work is working, especially when your conditioned ego screams that this stillness is counterproductive and that you should be doing more. Because when you consistently choose inner peace over external pressure, that is when your reality begins to genuinely, sustainably shift. That is when you are no longer just a passive passenger tossed about by the waves of circumstance. You become the conscious, fearless architect of your experience. Peace is your compass. Follow it with unwavering courage, and everything truly meant for you will inevitably, gracefully follow you. Chapter 5. The uncomfortable brilliance of shadow work. Manifesting from wholeness. You cannot authentically manifest a better, more fulfilling life by only loving and presenting the pretty, polished, socially acceptable parts of yourself. It's a spiritual and psychological impossibility. You cannot genuinely call in true abundance, sustainable joy, or deep connection while simultaneously rejecting, suppressing, or being at war with the parts of you that feel scared, angry, ashamed, insecure, or not good enough. Why? Because the universe, the great mirror of our inner state, doesn't just respond to your neatly curated vision board or your positive affirmations. It responds to your wholeness, or lack thereof. And wholeness, by its very definition, means courageously facing, embracing, and integrating all of you, especially the parts you've been conditioned to run from your entire life. Carl Jung, with his unparalleled insight into the human psyche, named these disowned aspects the shadow. The shadow isn't inherently evil or sinister in the way popular culture often portrays it. It's not a repository of pure darkness. Rather, it's the collection of all the repressed, denied, and unacknowledged parts of your personality, aspects of yourself, that you, at some point, consciously or unconsciously, buried in order to survive, to fit in, to be loved, or to avoid pain. It's the fear you silenced rather than processed, the righteous rage you swallowed instead of expressed constructively, the gnawing guilt you pretended didn't exist, the pervasive sense of unworthiness you cleverly disguised as relentless ambition or perfectionism. Most people, when they think of manifestation, envision a relatively clean, light-filled process, scripting desires, visualizing ideal outcomes, and diligently raising their vibration through positive thinking. And while these tools can be supportive, real manifestation, the kind that is lasting, grounded, soul-aligned, and genuinely transformative, doesn't primarily spring from fantasy or wishful thinking. It arises from the gritty, often uncomfortable, but ultimately liberating work of integration. Let's get fearlessly real here. Every time you find yourself obsessing over finding the one, that perfect romantic partner, it's usually not just about a pure, healthy desire for love and companionship. More often, it's a deeper, younger, wounded part of you. Your shadow, screaming from the unconscious depths, if someone, anyone, finally loves me fully, then maybe, just maybe, I'll finally feel enough. Maybe I'll finally be okay. Every time you find yourself hustling harder and harder for more money, driven by an insatiable hunger, it's often not just about healthy ambition or a desire for financial freedom. It's frequently about a core belief, lodged deep in your shadow, whispering insistently, I'm not safe unless I have more. My worth is tied to my net worth. And here lies the critical trap. If your desires and your attempts to manifest are primarily rooted in these unacknowledged shadow aspects, in unresolved lack, pervasive fear, unprocessed trauma, and a core sense of unworthiness, then whatever you manage to create or attract will inevitably reflect that fragmented, wounded foundation. You might manifest a partner, yes, but one who uncanny bin 364. You'll attract money, perhaps, but find it vanishes as quickly as it comes, or brings with it a host of new anxieties. You might achieve a measure of external success, only to find it feels hollow, empty, and profoundly draining. Why does this happen? Because you attracted it, or created it, through the distorted lens of a fragmented, unintegrated self. This is precisely why Jung's pioneering work on the shadow is so profoundly important for anyone truly committed to fearless living and authentic creation. He taught, as we've noted, that we must bring the unconscious into consciousness, because until you do, it covertly controls your life, dictates your patterns, influences your choices, and you, unaware of its powerful puppetry, will simply call the often painful results fate or bad luck. So the real, game-changing question isn't, how do I attract more of what I want? The far more potent, Fearless inquiry is what inside of me, still deeply, perhaps secretly, believes I don't already have enough, or that I am not already enough, just as I am. That is where true shadow work begins. And no, it's not always easy or pleasant. It's often profoundly uncomfortable. It demands that you stop pointing fingers, stop blaming the external world, your past, or other people for your circumstances, and instead, bravely, compassionately, turn your gaze inward. It requires you to stop lamenting what didn't happen or what you don't have, and start courageously asking, what part of me, what unhealed wound or limiting belief, wasn't truly ready or able to receive that which I desired? What part of me might have subtly sabotaged it? This is not about self-blame or wallowing in shame. It's about radical self-ownership and compassionate self-responsibility. It's about creating a safe, internal space where you can hold all versions of you, the light and the thirk, the strong and the vulnerable, the confident and the terrified, and say with genuine love and acceptance, you are allowed to exist. You are allowed to be seen, first and foremost, by me. And you no longer have to control my life from the shadows. Because once your shadow is seen, acknowledged, and compassionately understood, its power to unconsciously derail you diminishes significantly. It no longer needs to operate in the dark, pulling strings behind the scenes of your awareness. It no longer needs to create chaos or repetitive, painful patterns just to get your attention. Through this courageous act of inner witnessing and integration, you take your power back, and in that profound reclamation, your entire energetic frequency begins to shift. You no longer manifest from a place of fear, lack, or desperation. You begin to magnetize from a state of emergent wholeness, authenticity, and self-possession. This isn't just wishful thinking or new age fluff. This is quantum alignment. This is nervous system regulation. This is you becoming the grounded, integrated version of yourself, who no longer needs the external world to fix what your own soul, through fearless introspection and self-compassion, has already begun to heal. You naturally stop forcing, and you start allowing. You cease proving, and you begin radiating. Because now, you're not asking the universe for things from a place of perceived lack or unworthiness. You are embodying the energy, the frequency, the inner reality of the version of you who already feels like it's done, like you are that which you desire. And that coherent inner reality, that profound sense of I am, is what ultimately, powerfully, bends the outer world to reflect your integrated state. Not scripting alone, not vision boards in isolation, not chasing signs with anxiety, but deep, grounded, fierce and fearless integration of all that you are. This is the real work. Not the glittery, Instagrammable, quick fix version of spirituality, but the courageous, often messy, profoundly rewarding work that makes you look yourself squarely in the mirror and declare, I've been trying to manifest my future without making true peace with my past and all parts of myself. Not anymore. Now you stop running from yourself. Now you turn inward with courage and compassion. Now you face what's been silently, powerfully directing your entire life from the shadows. And when you do, the illusion of separation breaks, your true power returns, and your life inevitably begins to mirror, not your unhealed wounds, but your emerging magnificent wholeness. That is true manifestation. That is the path of individuation. That is authentic freedom. Chapter 6. The Self as the Ultimate Gatekeeper. Are you blocking your own destiny? This next truth might be one of the hardest pills to swallow on this journey of fearless thought, but its acceptance is paramount for profound transformation. The primary, most significant thing standing between you and the life you deeply desire, more often than not, not your challenging past, though it has undoubtedly shaped you, not your unhealed trauma, though it requires compassionate attention, not the whimsical cruelty of the universe. For the universe is largely a mirror. It is the unintegrated, unexamined aspects of your own self. Carl Jung, the fearless cartographer of the human soul, the man who soared deeper into the psyche's labyrinthine corridors than almost anyone before or since, uttered something chillingly, brilliantly true. The most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. Terrifying, yes. Because real, Radical self-acceptance demands that we confront, without flinching, the parts of ourselves we've spent a lifetime avoiding, denying, or dressing up in more palatable disguises. It means looking squarely at the residual guilt, the lingering shame, the haunting regrets, the deep-seated fears that whisper, maybe, just maybe, at your core, you're not good enough, not worthy, not lovable as you are. And so, instead of daring to go inward, to undertake that courageous descent into the self that Jung advocated, we often default to chasing the external. We frantically search for someone, anyone, to bestow upon us the validation we don't yet grant ourselves. We look for a partner to tell us we're lovable, a boss to tell us we're valuable, a social circle to tell us we belong. We hustle for love, desperately trying to earn it. We grind for success, hoping achievements will finally anoint us as worth. We engage in manifestation practices, not from a place of empowered belief and joyful co-creation, but often from a hidden, gnawing desperation to escape the discomfort of who we currently perceive ourselves to be. But here's the brutal, liberating truth that fearless thought demands we face. Anything you chase primarily to avoid yourself will, with almost unerring precision, become the very thing that avoids you. You might think you're diligently, virtuously working on your dreams, trying to make your ideal life happen, but in stark reality, you could be unconsciously using that very dream, that relentless pursuit, as an elaborate, socially sanctioned distraction, a way to avoid sitting in the profound, sometimes uncomfortable silence of who you currently are, with all your perceived flaws and unhealed wounds. The universe in this context isn't punishing you by withholding your desires, it's arguably protecting you. It intuitively knows, on an energetic level, that if you were to receive everything your ego currently wants, right now, without the requisite inner foundation of self-worth and integration, you likely wouldn't be able to hold it. Part of you, the unhealed, unworthy feeling part, would subtly or overtly find ways to sabotage it, push it away, or prove that you didn't deserve it in the first place, thus confirming its own limiting beliefs. And here's the deeper psychological truth that Jung so brilliantly illuminated. When you don't accept yourself fully, you become internally fragmented. Your conscious self, the one that makes the vision boards and recites the affirmations, says with conviction, I want more, I want this. But your unconscious self, where the shadow and the unhealed wounds reside, often whispers back, I'm not ready, I'm not worthy, I don't deserve it. It's not safe. And so your overall energy becomes a profound contradiction, an internal tug-of-war between conscious desire and unconscious disbelief. Your energetic field becomes a confused push-pull magnet that simultaneously tries to attract what it pretends to want, while subtly repelling it due to underlying incongruence. In this state, you, dear seeker, inadvertently become the primary blocker of your own destiny. Not because you're inherently flawed or weak, but because you're still largely operating from an outdated, unexamined version of yourself. A version meticulously constructed in childhood for survival, a version shaped by past wounds and societal conditioning, a version that was often taught, implicitly or explicitly, to earn love, to prove worth, rather than to simply receive it as your birthright. The profound tragedy is that most people will live their entire lives caught in this exhausting loop, relentlessly chasing external outcomes, when what their soul is truly crying out for is a fundamental shift in their core identity, in their fundamental sense of self. You don't necessarily need to do more. You need to fearlessly become more of who you truly are. You need to cultivate and embody the version of yourself that doesn't need to chase, because it already feels inherently whole and worthy. The version that already resonates with the feelings and states of being you're trying to manifest through external acquisitions. The version that already deeply believes in every cell of its being, I am worthy, I am ready, I am enough, right now. Because here's a universal law that many manifestation teachings gloss over. You don't primarily receive what you vocally want. You receive what you vibrationally are. If deep down in the bedrock of your psyche, you feel fundamentally unworthy, then even if you say all the right affirmations and perform all the correct rituals, your unconscious will likely find ingenious ways to sabotage every promising opportunity, every nascent relationship, every incoming blessing. Why? Because your dominant energy, your core vibration doesn't truly match your stated intention. There's a fundamental misalignment. So if things aren't moving in your life right now, if you feel profoundly stuck, if your efforts seem to yield little fruit, it's highly unlikely that the universe is ignoring you or that you're cursed with bad luck. It's far more probable that your internal frequency, your deep-seated self-concept, is still quietly broadcasting, "I don't truly believe I deserve this. I'm not quite ready for this level of happiness, success, love." And the universe, as a faithful mirror, is simply reflecting that deeply held, often unconscious truth back to you, again and again, not to punish you, but to tenderly, persistently wake you up. Therefore, the invitation of fearless thought is to stop blaming the external world, stop labeling your experiences as mere bad luck, stop fruitlessly asking, "Why does nothing ever work out for me?" And instead, gather your courage and begin to ask the transformative, internally focused questions. What part of me still believes I have to suffer before I can receive? What part of me is actually afraid of success, of love, of true happiness? What outdated identity am I still clinging to that is no longer serving my highest good? Because the moment you consciously stop chasing external outcomes and bravely start the internal work of evolving your self-concept, of healing your wounds, of integrating your shadow, and of cultivating an unshakable sense of your own inherent worthiness, that is the precise moment when everything begins to genuinely, organically shift. Not necessarily instantly, not always magically in the way the ego desires, but deeply, sustainably, from the inside out, the way real lasting transformation always does. Oh, please hear this with every fiber of your being. You are not stuck beyond hope. You are not cursed. You are simply being invited by life itself to rise, to grow, to evolve into the expansive, integrated, fearless version of yourself that can not only attract, but also comfortably hold, sustain, and enjoy the very blessings you've been asking for, not just for a fleeting moment, but for a lifetime. And when that profound inner shift occurs, when your sense of self aligns with your deepest desires, you won't need to force manifestation. You will simply, naturally become it. That's not magic. That's alignment. That's individuation. That is the unparalleled power of finally, fully, fearlessly accepting and loving yourself into wholeness. Chapter 7, The Great Remembering. You are not manifesting, you are uncovering. Let us conclude this deep, fearless exploration with perhaps the most profound and liberating truth that Carl Jung whispered between the lines of his extensive teachings. A truth so potent it doesn't just aim to change your mindset, it seeks to restore your very identity. You're not truly manifesting something new, you're remembering who you've always been. All this time, you may have believed you were diligently building a new life from scratch. You thought you were striving to attract something entirely external to you, that dream partner, that elusive success, that profound inner peace, that sustainable abundance. You've been doing the work, the affirmations, the visualizations, the shadow integration, the healing modalities, trying with such earnestness and intensity to bring something new into your existence. But what if the real sacred work was never primarily about bringing in something foreign, but about courageously, patiently uncovering the magnificence that has always been there, dormant or obscured, within you? Carl Jung's unparalleled genius wasn't just in helping people achieve more external things. His far greater contribution was in guiding individuals to the profound realization that they were never fundamentally missing anything essential to begin with. He illuminated the truth that all the disparate pieces they were frantically chasing out there were, in reality, often fragmented, disowned aspects of their own true selves, potentials, qualities, and states of being they had, for various reasons, abandoned or forgotten along the way. Let this resonate deep within your soul. The version of you that effortlessly embodies the love you crave already exists within your potential. It's not some distant future iteration of yourself you have to painstakingly construct. It's part of your original divine blueprint. However, somewhere along the arduous, often confusing road of life, the noise of the world grew loud. Societal conditioning, family dynamics, painful experiences, all conspired to convince you that you had to chase to matter, that you had to earn your worth through external validation, that you had to perform for love, that you often had to sacrifice your authentic truth in order to be accepted or to feel safe. And so, you forgot. You forgot your inherent wholeness. You forgot your innate divinity. You forgot your natural, effortless alignment with the flow of life and abundance. You didn't truly lose your power. You simply lost your conscious, felt connection to it. It became buried under layers of conditioning, fear, and limiting beliefs. And now, as you bravely walk this path of healing, growth, and fearless self-discovery, you are not primarily building something new from the ground up. You are not starting from a place of absolute lack or from scratch. You are, in essence, engaged in a sacred act of excavation. You are meticulously, lovingly removing all that is not truly you. The accumulated layers of fear, the pervasive guilt, the exhausting need to prove yourself, the suffocating grip of perfectionism, the incessant chatter of overthinking, the anxious attachments to specific outcomes, the outdated stories you tell yourself about who you are and what's possible for you. All of it, all these layers, are merely energetic static, obscuring the clear, pure signal of your soul. Carl Jung never offered a simplistic, step-by-step system to fix people because he understood something that most self-help paradigms miss. You don't need to be fixed, you need to be revealed. Who you really are at your core is not the overthinking, anxious, insecure, perpetually striving self you've likely been identifying with for much of your life. That, as Jung would suggest, is largely the persona, the mask, the socially conditioned role, a sophisticated survival mechanism meticulously constructed over years of perceived emotional neglect, societal pressures, and a profound spiritual forgetfulness. Who you truly are is the calm, unwavering witness beneath all the mental and emotional turbulence. You are the soul, the timeless essence, the part of you that remembers profound stillness, that knows innate worthiness, that doesn't need to chase because it already embodies the desired state. You are the aspect of your being that doesn't grasp frantically because it already is that which it seeks. And this, dear friend, is the final, most sacred truth for your fearless contemplation today. When you genuinely do nothing, in the sense of ceasing the frantic, fear-driven grasping, hustling, scripting, and manifesting from a place of perceived lack, you naturally, effortlessly, begin to return to your original optimal frequency. This is the resonant frequency you were born with, the one that never needed to be proven, only remembered and That is why things often begin to align, sometimes with astonishing speed and grace, when you finally, truly let go. It's not because surrender is some magical cheat code or a clever tactic to manipulate the universe. It's because surrender, in its most authentic form, is your natural state. It's the state of profound trust. It's the state of simply being, rather than perpetually doing or striving. It's the state where your soul gently overrides the anxious machinations of your ego, where your coherent energy becomes more powerful than your strained effort, and where a deep sense of alignment naturally replaces pervasive anxiety. So if you find yourself still caught in the exhausting loop, still trying to mentally strategize your way into your desired future, still attempting to force the divine, intelligent universe to move according to your ego's impatient deadline, please pause. Breathe. Remember this. It's not because the universe is against you or withholding your good. It's because it's lovingly, persistently trying to remind you of something fundamental you've temporarily forgotten. You were never meant to come into this life to beg for the experiences your soul desires. You are here to remember, to reclaim, and to re-embody the truth that it's already yours, in potential. Once you courageously become the version of you who is an energetic and vibrational match for receiving and sustaining it, you are not late. You are not broken. You are not behind. You are not desperately manifesting from a void. You are magnificently, powerfully remembering your inherent wholeness. And now, perhaps you've remembered enough to truly begin. Now it's time to return, again and again, to the profound stillness within, to the unwavering trust in your soul's wisdom, and to the deep knowing that everything truly meant for you will arrive, not primarily when you chase it with frantic abandon, but when you courageously, fearlessly become it from the inside out. And in that sacred state of becoming, you don't force, you don't beg, you simply powerfully, gracefully allow, you receive. You are welcome home to yourself. Your fearless journey continues, a call to embodied action. If even one line, one concept, one fearless thought in this deep exploration has cracked something open inside you, please don't let this be just another piece of content you scroll past and vaguely recall. Don't let this potent moment of insight dissolve into the endless feed of your digital life, half-watched and quickly forgotten, because this wasn't just a collection of words for those who are ready. This was a mirror moment. This was a message, a resonance that you are meant to find, not by accident, but by deep, soul-level alignment. Carl Jung once wisely said, "We meet ourselves time and again in 1,000 disguises on the path of life." Perhaps this exploration today, here on Fearless Thoughts, was one of those disguises, a reflection, a nudge, a spiritual checkpoint, gently but firmly reminding you that you're not here to endlessly chase the world, but to courageously, lovingly return to the truth of yourself. So if you felt that shift, that inner stirring, even for a fleeting second, I invite you to take a fearless step to anchor it, declare your liberation. In the comments below, share your biggest takeaway or affirm your intention. Perhaps it's, "I fearlessly choose surrender over struggle," or "I am remembering my wholeness," or even simply, "I let go, I receive." This isn't for external validation, but as a powerful declaration to your own unconscious mind, a signal that this time you choose alignment over obsession, self-compassion over self-criticism, becoming over begging. Amplify the energy. Hit that like button, not just to feed an algorithm, but as a conscious act to anchor this transformative energy into your own nervous system. Let it be a somatic marker to your psyche. This moment mattered. I am choosing a different way. I am different now. Join the Fearless community. If you're truly done with surface-level hacks, temporary motivation, and quick fixes, and you're ready to dive consistently deeper into the kind of Jungian-inspired truths that reconstruct you from the inside out, then subscribe to Fearless Thought. This isn't just a channel, it's a journey, a supportive space for souls who are courageously ready to remember their power and live with fearless authenticity. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss our ongoing exploration. Share the wisdom. Above all, if this resonated, share this exploration with someone you care about, someone who might be lost in the exhausting loop of chasing, someone striving for everything except a connection with their own true self. Because, as Jung also profoundly noted, your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside, dreams. Who looks inside, awakes. This is your moment to awaken, to turn your precious attention inward, to stop seeking approval and start seeing your own inherent worth, because in a world utterly obsessed with more, with noise, with external validation, choosing stillness is a rebellion, choosing presence is power, and sometimes fearlessly doing nothing, nothing externally, while doing the deep work internally, is the most courageous and transformative act of becoming. So breathe deeply. Ground yourself in this present moment. Remember, you're not just manifesting, you're remembering. And your fearless return to the magnificent truth of who you are starts now. Thank you for joining us on Fearless Thoughts. We'll continue this journey of becoming together in our next exploration. Stay fearless, while letting go is your most fearless move towards everything you desire. Welcome to Fearless Thoughts, the space where we dare to confront the narratives that bind us and explore the courageous pathways to authentic living. Here, we don't just skim the surface of our minds, we dive deep into the currents, the shadows, and the luminous truths that shape our reality. Today, we're tackling a monumental, perhaps even terrifying, idea. What if the key to unlocking your life, to finally achieving that sense of peace, fulfillment, and success you've been striving for, isn't about adding more effort, but about fearlessly letting go? You've done the work. Oh, how you've done the work. The vision boards are meticulously crafted, affirmations recited with fervor, the grind relentless, You've meditated until your cushion has an imprint of your soul, journaled reams of hopes and frustrations, manifested with the intensity of a spiritual Olympian, prayed with heartfelt devotion, and planned every conceivable step. You've tried everything, pushed every boundary, explored every modality. So why, after all this exhaustive effort, does it still feel like you're wading through treacle, stuck in an invisible mire, with the finish line perpetually receding? Why does the echo in the chamber of your efforts sound so hollow? Carl Jung, the pioneering psychoanalyst who bravely charted the depths of the human psyche, offered a profound insight: what you resist persists. This isn't a cosmic punishment for doing things wrong. It's a fundamental principle of energy and consciousness. The resistance itself, the clenching, the forcing, becomes the very obstacle. It persists not because your methods are flawed, but perhaps because you're applying them with a desperate grip, when your soul, in its infinite wisdom, is whispering or even screaming for you to release. This exploration today reveals a paradoxical, almost heretical truth in our hustle-obsessed culture. Sometimes the most powerful, transformative shift doesn't erupt from the volcano of intensified effort, but blooms quietly in the fertile valley of surrender. Imagine this: when you finally truly stop chasing, forcing, fixing, and fighting, your life doesn't fall apart. Instead, it begins to fall into place, not through the iron will of control, which is often an illusion born of fear, but through a graceful, effortless alignment with a current far greater than your individual striving. Stay with us. The silence you've been diligently avoiding, filling with noise and frantic activity, might just be the very portal to everything you've been so desperately seeking. It's time for a fearless thought. Could surrender be your superpower? A gentle but powerful reminder, this deep dive draws profound inspiration from the timeless philosophies of Carl Jung, offering a reflective and transformative lens through which to explore your inner world. While this is not a literal or clinical interpretation of his exhaustive academic work, everything shared here is intended to awaken awareness, nourish the soul, and support your unique personal journey toward wholeness. Let this be a space of profound insight, not a replacement for professional mental health care, should you need it, but a courageous companion for your healing, your integration, and your fearless self-discovery. At Fearless Thoughts, echoing the wisdom of Jungian psychology, we believe healing and transformation begin the moment you choose to honor your deepest truth. It's about prioritizing your soul's calling, speaking your authentic truth even when your voice trembles, and consciously choosing your path of healing. Chapter 1. The exhausting illusion of the chase. Why your relentless pursuit is blocking you. We live in a culture that lionizes the chase. Go-getter, hustle culture, never give up. These are the mantras emblazoned on our collective consciousness. We've been sold a compelling, yet often misleading, narrative that success is a direct, linear result of relentless pursuit. Happiness, we're told, is a prize to be won at the end of an arduous race. If you just run faster, push harder, optimize every second, and keep grinding, eventually, inevitably, what you desire will fall into your grasp. But will it? And at what cost? Carl Jung didn't champion this relentless external chase. His profound wisdom guided us inward. He urged us to pause in our frantic pursuits and ask a far more illuminating question. Why am I chasing this specific thing in the first place? This introspective query is a cornerstone of fearless thought, because it often reveals that the object of our chase isn't the actual desire. More often than not, it's a beautifully packaged, socially acceptable band-aid slapped onto a deeper, unacknowledged wound. Consider this. When you crave love with an intensity that consumes your every waking thought, is it truly the pure essence of love you seek? Or is it a desperate attempt to soothe the raw, lingering fear of abandonment? A ghost from your past that you haven't yet faced. When you obsess over accumulating wealth, pushing yourself to the brink of burnout, is it genuinely about financial freedom and the opportunities money can bring? Or are you unconsciously, relentlessly still trying to prove your worth to figures from your past? Parents, peers, society who once made you feel insignificant or small. Jung's genius wasn't rooted in simplistic motivation tactics. It lay in profound, unflinching confrontation with the self. He famously stated, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This is a seismic declaration. It means that if you don't summon the courage to bring your hidden wounds, your suppressed fears, and your unacknowledged needs into the compassionate light of your awareness, they will covertly steer the ship of your life. They will dictate your desires, your attractions, your repulsions, and you, oblivious to these subterranean currents, will simply label the resulting circumstances as fate, bad luck, or just the way things are. So you keep running, sprinting towards mirages on the horizon, that perfect relationship, that dream job, that ideal body, that societal validation, believing they will complete you, fill the void, and finally make you whole. But life, in its impartial wisdom, doesn't give you what you vocally want. It mirrors back to you what you energetically are. And if what you are, deep down beneath the veneer of effort, is wounded, desperate, fragmented, and operating from a place of scarcity, then every goal you chase, no matter how noble, will likely slip through your fingers, or if attained, feel strangely hollow. Why? Because the energetic signature behind your striving is subtly, yet powerfully, broadcasting, "I am not whole. I am not inherently worthy. I need this external thing to feel good enough." The universe, being a perfect resonator, listens intently to this energetic broadcast. Not just your carefully crafted affirmations. You might plead, "Please, universe, give me love." But if your core energy is vibrating with, "I don't truly believe I am lovable as I am. I don't have it within me," the universe, in its impeccable consistency, echoes back, "You're right, you don't." This is the tragic loop that keeps so many intelligent, capable individuals burning out, chasing relationships that inevitably replicate old painful dynamics, pouring their lifeblood into careers that drain their spirit, and seeking validation that, like a sugar high, offers fleeting pleasure but no lasting nourishment. It's not because their goals are inherently wrong or unattainable. It's because the self behind the pursuit of those goals is still silently, unconsciously bleeding from old injury. The obsession, therefore, is never truly about the external thing. It's about the deeply ingrained, often erroneous belief about what that thing will magically fix inside you. Herein lies the uncomfortable, yet liberating truth. If you were to miraculously receive everything you're currently chasing, right now, in this very moment, would you even be able to hold it, to truly receive it, integrate it, and enjoy it? Or would your hands, still trembling with the unresolved anxieties and insecurities of the past, inadvertently push it away or find a way to sabotage it? Because at a core level, you haven't yet cultivated the inner capacity to be with such blessings. Jung's work wasn't designed to help you manifest trinkets from an egoic wish list. His profound legacy is a roadmap to help you integrate your soul, to encourage you to stop the exhausting external chase and bravely start facing the disowned parts of yourself. It's about listening to that quiet, persistent inner voice that, beneath all the noise, has been screaming, "I'm not really chasing external success. I'm desperately chasing a sense of inner wholeness, of peace, of feeling truly at home in my own skin." So here is your pivotal turning point, your invitation to a truly fearless thought. Before you launch another campaign to ask the universe for more, pause. Take a deep, courageous breath and ask yourself, with radical honesty, what part of me deep inside still feels achingly empty? What wound is this current chase trying to distract me from, or unconsciously heal? Because once you dare to turn your gaze inward and begin the sacred work of healing that emptiness from the inside out, an extraordinary alchemy occurs. You'll naturally stop chasing what was never truly yours to begin with, or what was sought for the wrong reasons, and you'll begin, effortlessly, to attract what was always meant for you, from a place of authentic alignment and self-possession. This isn't about abandoning your dreams or quitting your worthy goals. Far from it. It's about purifying your reasons, cleansing the lens through which you view your desires and your own worthiness. When your motivations shift from lack to fullness, from fear to love, from proving to expressing, that's when the unconscious ceases its resistance, And that's when the universe, sensing this profound internal shift, seems to lean in and whisper, now you're ready. Now you understand. You're not here to chase alignment. You're here to become it. And becoming, dear friends, begins not in frantic motion, but in profound, courageous stillness.